Hey YouTube! Tonight we have lighting, so we're good tonight, okay? I'm not gonna be in the dark. I have my hair done, okay? Got a few lashes on, okay? So without further ado, first off, I want to apologize to anybody that was waiting, which I didn't see anybody waiting for this video, but I'm just practicing for when I do reach that, few 20 or 100 of y'all that's going to be waiting, so whatever. So tonight, as you see by the title, we're going to be recapping Chasing Atlanta Forever, season 6, episode 2, where the icon meets the pain, honey. Yes, the icon meets the pain. So we're going to get into the things tonight. But before I go any further, I want to first start off like I did in my other video and say that I hope that you all prayed today. Okay. Yes, you said your prayers, you've stretched your bodies, you've released your minds of any negative thoughts. Okay. So we're going to come into this video with all positivity, good energy, and we're just going to get into the review. Please please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Okay, it's free to hit that like button, that subscribe button. Okay. Um, and I want to send a special shout out to Jamar, the producer from one of the producers, assistant producers or producers. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Jamar. From Chasing Reality um, Family and the web series. So never know who's watching. So I just want to encourage you all that are starting like me to keep going. This is only my second video, only my second review, but hey, that gives me motivation to continue to do more and just continue to chase my dreams in this YouTube family and industry. Okay, so let's jump into the review. As you all know, I'm going to be looking at my notes, so please bear with me. But everybody look at their notes because we don't want to review, and we got to make sure we're talking about the things in the correct order. Okay, so Chasing Reality, um Chasing Atlanta Forever, the icon meets the pain, season 6, episode 2 begins or picks up at Rico's house. And so from the last video, we talked about Kendra and Neek getting into it, Dominique getting into it. So this episode picks up where that left off, where we see Kendra trying to get at Nick, and there's this whole debacle going on, and in Rico's green screen, Rico, come on, he like, hold the hell on, you know what I'm saying? Y'all up in my house doing this, you know what I'm saying? So Rico trying to get some understanding, and just trying to make sure that the girls don't be tearing up none in his house, which I definitely understand and can agree. Like, let's get some understanding, let's get some clarity. Everybody, is at a 10. Let's come down to a 2. Okay. So then we see that Neat wants to see Kendra, he in there saying, he want to see Kendra hit him, you know what I'm saying, But Oliver said that, he really don't got time for that because he don't want his BBL messed up in the mix. And honey, I had cackle, because I'm just like, Lord, please don't mess up the BBL, honey. Yes. So, we see all of that going on. And then we see where Kendra feels that, she's talking, and she said that she feels that Nick is always being sarcastic, And then we see Jay Twan come on, and he's like, now girl, Kendra, come on now, come on, calm down. But in another view, he like, but it don't hurt, if you do a little uppercut, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no uppercuts. Please keep all of that out of Rico's out of Rico's house, period. Okay. Out of Rico's house. Okay. Have some common decency to control your emotions in the moment and have a fair disagreement, and if you cannot do that, then I don't know what else to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Walk away and try it again another day. But, to do that in someone's house, I just personally would not have done it. But, hey, we live and we learn, right? So then we see, Kendra asks Neek, asks, how Neek goes from singing her songs to ultimately shading her. And, in his confessional, Neek says, Kendra needs, better wigs and better outfits, you know what I'm saying? And that was from his confessional from last season, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was episode 2, I want to say, of last season. So, that kind of hurt Kendra's feelings because she's like, I thought we were cool or we were at least building something. And for you to come out the gate swinging at me saying, I know you're going at Wayne, but you also come to me because you're saying, get better wigs and get better outfits. You know what I'm saying? So that ultimately hurt Kendra's feelings or whatever. So, I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So Kendra says, she feels that, nobody's doing nothing for her, and if the fake stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so, in this scene, we see Willa, she's really disheartened. She's really disappointed in, what's happening because, she says, her and Kendra spoke about the situation and, she understands, it's deeper than what we see is happening with Kendra, and everybody else. So, you know, I mean, I get it, you know what I'm saying? So Kendra regrets coming around, she in her green screen, she says she's emotionally and mentally detached. And when she said that, I can agree to moments where, I have felt detached from people or just the world, you know what I'm saying? But, I just go into my vault and just close my vault and it's just me and the good Lord above, okay, in my vault. And then, when I feel like I can peek my head out and the sun is shining and there's another good day, then hey, I do that, you know what I'm saying? But I understand being emotionally and mentally drained or detached. So, I just want to definitely send my prayers up for Kendra and ask you all to continue to pray for and with Kendra as well as she's going through whatever she's going through. Sometimes we don't have to know what a person goes through. We don't have to know the full story to pray for somebody. You know what I'm saying? So just pray for her. You know what I'm saying? And those around her, please give her grace. Hold her accountable, but give her grace. You know what I'm saying? So I'll leave it there. So, she even mentions, like her and Wayne, not being cool. You know what I'm saying? So I know that relationship that her and Wayne had, that kind of played, that kind of played on her emotions as well. So again, I understand, So then we see Oliver tells Kendra she is strong. God gives the toughest battles to his strongest, tells Kendra she's a queen and she's never alone. She got to live for Kendra, and also Rico understands, that Kendra needs support and reminds her that she can't go backwards, you know what I'm saying? And having real friends, sometimes you don't need a whole group of people around you because you can become distracted and you can lose focus on what God has in store for you. Sometimes you just need a few roots, a few, 2 or 3. You just need a few that's going to hold you in solitude and pray for you and hold you accountable for when, the things that you need to be held accountable for, but also speak to you about how you can come out of this, just being a positive light, being a positive energy. In a world of so much negativity, we need sunflowers, you know what I'm saying? We need those roots and friends and sunflowers and friends that's going to, help us through those times. So I commend Oliver and Rico for, just again trying to reassess and reset, the situation and also help Kendra, come out of that. And so I would tell Kendra, when it's all said and done, she can lotion his ass. When it heals. I hollered. I said, ooh, leave it to Oliver. He definitely gonna give us a key, honey. He gonna give us a key. Oh, there was something to me. Kendra said, okay, I'm ready to go in. Lord have mercy. Okay. So then we see Oliver stepping into his mediator role, and he feels if Nick and Kendra talk, that they can love each other again. You know what I'm saying? So then we see, Kendra, Nick, and Oliver talking. Oliver brings them together. Um, and Nick, says he feel like he in the principal office. And I cackle. But Kendra and Nick, I believe they have the same birthday. I believe that's what Kendra said. I caught that and I was put that in my notes. But I was like, that's definitely unique and dope. You know what I'm saying? A few trial and errors. I hate that it had to go there before, they had to get on the same footing. But, Oliver was able to bring them together and ultimately have them talk, you know. And so Kendra starts leading, and she says she's always loved and supported, Dominique, and she speaks on Dominique's confessional again. She never had an issue with him, and pretty much wants to end it, wants to end the feud. You know what I'm saying? And so Nick says he understands, and that she wants to end the feud. But smoking cigarettes and charging at him is wrong. Now he could have left that out. Now Dominic, you could have left that out now. But it was a little funny, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, again, please continue to give Kendra grace, you know what I'm saying? As I'm not saying, and when I say this, you all, that for anybody that's watching, and yes, nails done by me, even though I'm missing, two. I took them off. But yeah, nails done by me. Yeah. Okay. So sidebar. So he could have left that out, you know what I'm saying? But also too, I'm not saying that giving grace, is an excuse for letting people disrespect you. Definitely. No. You definitely call out disrespect, and you definitely, face it head on, you know what I'm saying? But also, if you visibly can see someone going through something, please, I mean, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you to say and go into your shelf and say, okay, how can I better assist this situation for me to not get out of my body? Okay? And also be able to have this conversation that's uncomfortable, okay, with this person while they are, saying things that are uncomfortable to me or acting a certain way of some sorts. You have to be in control of that. You know what I'm saying? Only we can be in control of what we do as ourselves. So again, just that's what I mean when I say giving grace. But anywho, so he says, he loves Kendra, and he don't want no tennis match, you know what I'm saying? And Kendra speaks on next scene we see Kendra speaking on, the killing of transgender women, and her friends that she's lost, you know what I'm saying? And then ultimately they move along, and then they talk about we see Kendra asking Nick for a hug, you know what I'm saying? And Kendra ends things with Nick, and they not at war with each other. You know what I'm saying? So that scene was ultimately great to see. I do always appreciate Kendra, again, like I said in my previous video, speaking on trans lives, because in the LGBTQ plus community, um, I feel like there isn't enough coverage, on trans women, trans men, when there are homicides out there. So I do always appreciate her for or even just advocating, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely always appreciate Kendra for bringing that to the forefront, because she educates me each time she, talks about that, even though now I'm in the community, honey. Yes, I have me a chocolate woman. Yes, okay. But anywho, I'm not too keen on, the trans community, and I'm not. So, watching this series has helped educate me, and also watching like other platforms like Scotty by Nature. We shout out to Scotty by Nature. Yes, he's from Mississippi. Period. Okay, I'm from the Batesville, and I don't know where Scotty's from, but you know, I just wanted to throw that out there. You know, shout out to us Mississippi girls. You know, if there is nothing there, but shout out to us because we are doing it. Okay, wherever you are, and if you're in Mississippi, shout out to you. Okay, shout out to you. Okay. All right, ain't nothing wrong with Mississippi. So shout out to anybody that's in Mississippi doing things, chasing their dreams. Hey, it ain't for me. I had to go, but hey, shout out to y'all that's doing it, okay? That will always be home in my heart, okay? So again, so platforms like Scotty by Nature and um Kendra educating me, chasing reality, you know what I'm saying? I'm learning more about the trans community. So I appreciate that. So again, alongside all I'm saying is that I'm ultimately glad to see that her and Dominique were able to come to some accord. Okay. So that was good to see. So after all of that happens, we see Miss Seven whip on up. Okay. Miss Seven pulls up, honey. Okay. She pulls back up because she says that Dominique had called her about 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And she answered. Okay. Last video, I said that, Miss Seven said that she couldn't answer Willa because, she had all of these things going on, but she was able to answer Dominique's phone call when he needed her. Okay. And there again, this is all these are facts, okay? So Nick says, so when she comes, she's like, she makes a joke and she's like, why he sitting outside like he waiting on his dad to come pick him up? Now he's sitting outside on the curb like somebody waiting on his dad to come pick him up now and stepping down now. So anyway, she tells Nick, not to be going to people's house hollering and fighting, honey. Don't be doing that. But Oliver tells Seven, honestly, Nick was on his best behavior. So, we can't say that, okay? So Nick felt under attack. Oliver asks, how does it feel to have the roles reversed? Because Kendra was at his neck seasons prior, and now it's Dominique that's being, going back and forth with Kendra now. So he was just asking, how does it feel? You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, Kendra's going through things. So I just want people to keep that in mind. Okay. Don't play with mental health. I'm not saying anybody's playing with mental health, you know what I'm saying? But she's going through something. And so, but there was a funny little question, that he has, whatever. But next, we see Seven say, she doesn't like the fight in between, Kendra and Dominique, she, wants to talk to Kendra, now. So she talks to Kendra and Kendra ends up bringing up, again, trans women and, how they have to stick together and, how there are killings going on and and so then we see Willa speaking and chiming in and she's saying, yeah, they choose to live their lives out loud. And that's something that I definitely can respect because, when you live your life out loud confidently, they can be intimidating to some people. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're uncomfortable with you or the skin that they're in most times, then, things can turn, harmful. And I hate that, in all of our communities, Black communities, trans communities, all communities, you know what I'm saying? But specifically the Black and trans communities, LGBTQ as well. So, yeah, like I really hate that. So, then we see, women wait so long to transition, later in life. And, she brought up a fact that, through legislation, white men, try to hurt them. And in the streets, Black men hurt them. It's the black man. You know what I'm saying? So, and she empathizes with Kendra. You know what I'm saying? And so, I just really appreciated them, just having that conversation and being a support again for Kendra. And so next we see Kendra still, she's talking about how she's done sacrificing and suffering. She's put a dime in others and people don't help her. And so we see that, in this moment, when the pain comes on his green screen, and he's like, he sees that, excuse me, excuse me. He sees that Kendra is, intoxicated, and, he left to give Kendra respect and to respect Rico's house. And then he sees Rico giving him the eye, so he has to say bye bye. Oh, Wayne tickled me, child. He be tickling me with some of the metaphors and some of them, sayings he be saying. So we see the next scene with Seven and Willa. And so I really was glad that Seven and Willa was able to sit down and have this conversation. And maybe I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon earlier. I spoke too soon. Okay. But anyway, in this, we see, Seven begins to apologize. And she said, she's been a terrible and absent sister. And, she's had to get herself together. Work has been slapping her every which way. And that her dog has been, shitting in the apartment. You know what I'm saying? So, um, she says she wants to do better. So there's that, she owned up to what she thought was the reason why she felt, excuse me, she, you know, she had to, get herself together, and that's why her and Willa was not talking. So that's her reasoning. And so we see Willa crying, and she feels like the last time she did Seven's hair, that things ultimately changed from there. And she says that, she views Seven's friendship and values it way more than money. I can dig a friendship like that. I don't have many friends myself. Literally, I have my sugar and maybe one or two solid people that I consider friends. That's it. It be like that sometimes. And God don't make no mistake when he places only those few people in your life. Those few people help you grow. They help you succeed. They can help you continue on your journey and set you up and help to set you up to excel beyond your own beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Through God and just a few of those roots that I talked to you all about in the beginning, you can do anything. You know what I'm saying? So I can dig what Willa said. So Willa said that she needed Seven, when D Pass, who was featured on TTV's Queen Council. And so Willa says, she doesn't deal with grief well. And, when she was going through this, she really wanted Seven to be there, and Seven wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And so Willa, then, she comes on in her green screen, and basically she was like, she was questioning their friendship. You know what I'm saying? At that point. And so Willa feels Seven is good to people who are not good to her. Friends with people who are not good to her. That touched me because I have been there. Been friends, been loyal to people to a fault when they can give a hot diggity dog about you. But that's what people with good hearts do, Willa. We go through the most heartbreak. Don't stop being a good friend. Don't stop being there for Seven. Don't stop holding her accountable. Keep praying for her, but also do what's best for you going forward. Because another thing I've learned is ultimately people don't like when you treat them the way they treat you, and it's not good. When you start treating them, when you start meeting them where they at, they don't like that because they used to you always being there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking to myself because, I'm a person that's always there for people. And I don't have a lot of family there, a lot of friends there for me. You know what I'm saying? I literally have my significant other, her family, my little siblings, and my coda, my dog. That's it. And I'm perfectly okay with it. And my good Lord above. I got the good Lord first, okay? The good Lord, okay? Better get your Bible out and read it every day so you can be all right now. But literally, that's all I got. And that's okay. Okay. So, in that moment, I definitely could relate to Willa saying that, Seven being good to people and people ain't good to her, but also too, there should have been a teaching moment for Seven to say, and it was for Seven because she was saying even still, like again, she wanted to do and be a better friend. So she's learning. And so, excuse me, she felt like when Seven told her that Seven was like, oh, and I have a lot going on, and I got ish going on, and Willow was like, well, you ain't never not got nothing going on and not there for me. So, like that's conflicting to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad she stood on this so that they can talk about it more because sometimes I have been a friend, but now I'm not that person. But I've been a friend where I've like, oh, you got stuff going on and I'll just let it linger. You know what I'm saying? And I speak on it. But now, baby, I'm speaking on everything. Well, why you feel that way? Let's talk about it so we can get some rapport, some understanding. Because if you my friend, then I definitely want to let's hash it out. Cause she at the end of the day, I'm still gonna love you and we definitely still gonna be friends after this. So what's up? Okay. So next we see Seven saying that, she has to do better and she apologizes, and she doesn't take death well. And, her D and Seven were all her D and Willow were all cool. And, again, she's doing better, as a friend. And then next we see Willa saying that, she don't cry for nobody. And the next time that happens, she gonna beat Seven ass. That what Willa said. I didn't say that. I just paraphrased, okay? Verbatim. Okay. Allegedly. Okay. No, I'm not saying allegedly because that's what was said in the show, okay? But they so cute to me. I just feel like, they're going through friend heart ship, okay? And that's okay. Sometimes there's bumps in the road, but if you're true friends, then you're going to find a way to work it out and come together and fix it. I like that, okay? I like you. Not gonna It's not gonna happen with everyone, but if you can fix it, let's fix it, okay? Let's fix it, okay? So then we see Oliver extending the olive branch for football to the both of them. And so they all go outside and play football. We see Miss Tonka shaking that thing, and then we see Miss Tony catching the ball like a lady. She got the ball like a lady. And then we says Rico says therapy is good, and then Willa catches, she catches the ball and we see her tipping off into the next scene. And the next scene comes on. And then shortly after that, we see, that this is where we see Kendra decide not to film any further, So after a production rep, yeah, Kendra doesn't want to film anymore. And there was the mental health awareness statement as well. I really appreciate that because you never know who that might help. It's so much going on in this world with inflation, homelessness, Israel, the government, school loans, family, work. It's just so much going on. And so that message really hit home because again, I really value when um any reality show or any show in general or movie at the end per se, um, puts in a mental health awareness or gives some type of help or resource to people who may be in need of it. Okay, so I really appreciated that. I really appreciated that. And so next we see, in the next scene we see Moore and his new boo. They were looking at a nice house. It was a nice house, and then we see in the next scene, Moore tries to go in the bathroom, get in the bathtub, but the bathtub is too little because he's too tall. Okay, he's too tall. Okay, so then we see the Jay is not used to a public, he says in his green screen, he's not used to a public relationship, and then but he really likes his boo, and his boo ends up getting him a billboard, and he goes, my man, my man. And so we see that his boo also speaks about him wanting a big house and how he already has 5 children, and Jay is open to the next steps ultimately, but he's like, yeah, we got to get there first, okay? And then, his boo asks him about how he feels about his upcoming collection. And so Jay is excited. He's helping Blake Martin out in a show, and, he is nervously excited. Okay. And then ultimately we see Jay Moore and his boo saying that they're going to continue to look for a house. Okay. And so that was that scene. It was really nice. So next we have Nick and Anthony scene, where Nick goes and sees his ex Anthony, and so he just checks in with Anthony. They're chopping it up, and Dominique says, and he tells, and I'm proud of you. I know we're not together, but I'm proud of you. I see your growth. I'm growing. I'm proud of you. And that's really big to say to someone who has hurt you. And I'm not saying this has happened to Neek. I don't know their situation. So I want to put that in there. I don't know their situation. But this is really big of him, to say, as someone who has either been hurt by someone or was with someone and they broke up, just because things didn't work, or there's just that long history, you know what I'm saying? So it's really big for someone to come back and say, hey, I know that it's not working, but I know it didn't work between you and I, excuse me, but I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? So he says that people grow apart, and maybe he feels like he also crippled Anthony, you know what I'm saying? Or Ant, excuse me. So, he feels Ant is a good best friend no matter what. Okay. And then he said he wants to be around. Him and Anthony started talking, and it's like, well, how you doing? And Dominique says he wants to be around his bros. He says, Rico with the K ain't around no more. And, um, ultimately they end up talking about how him and Troy, Dominique and Troy are not talking at the moment, and, you know, he says it's nothing like hanging with his bros, ultimately. And then, he talked about Dominique talked about in his green screen how they were together ultimately for 8 years, and 8 years is like 80 years when you with somebody. I was like, oh, that's so funny, because that's true. It feel like a very long time when you with somebody like that long. So yeah, and he just wants to be around good vibes, which is his bros, you know what I'm saying? And so, next we see Anthony asks about, well, have you spoken to Wayne? How's it going with you and Wayne the Pain? You know what I'm saying? Dominique, like, whoa. I always see the camera go, and shout out to the editor who edited that part. It was like, because Dominique was like, what? Why you asking about Wayne? And so Anthony says, I was just asking because, Wayne had reached out to me or whatever, And so he was like, what? Why would he be reaching out to you? You know what I'm saying? And so he felt like just ultimately Wayne was up to no good, And the message that we saw, it kind of looks like an Instagram message. I'm not sure what social media platform that the message was on, but it just looks like the message was like, what's gooey or what's good, big ant. And it's like, yeah, Me and you not seeing eye to eye. I don't care if we're not together or not. Don't be reaching out to my ex because I'm gonna feel like you feel you being shady. You know what I'm saying? Like for one, like this a petty below the bill. I don't care whoever you with. You know what I'm saying? But that's petty. You know what I'm saying? That's petty. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, um, and so Anthony was like, yeah, he didn't respond because, he was like, it was something. He said something, but he didn't say something, but he said something. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Stay over there again. Avoid any drama, guys. Stay out of folks. Don't be like that. I don't like that. Like just we don't see how just go on about your business. You know what I'm saying? Just go about your business. Okay. So anyway, but to each his own. Troy, Willa, and Oliver end up in the next scene, and they end up going to a consultation with Troy, who's looking to get some face work done. And I think that Troy has some really good skin. All three of them really have good skin, ultimately. And so Troy is like, he's inviting them because he invited Will and Oliver because he knows that they've had work done before and they can, relate to what he's trying to do. And also, Troy is focused on his brand, and branding and, branching out more as well. So he's, getting a consultation through through this service as well. So, um, next, we see them getting a tour of the spa area that or the service area that he was going to get his consultation at, and so next we see Willow was Will was so funny. Will was like, I was confused about what's going on up in here, and then what's going on with all these machines, and then Oliver, is like Oliver come on, it's like I don't feel. I was so funny, y'all. Ooh, Oliver said he doesn't feel he need any more work done. He said Willa look good, Troy look good. Other friends who have holes, dents, and crevices. This facility would be really nice for them. Yeah, I was cracking up. Okay, Oliver gives me like that's so Raven vibes, a little bit mixed with um somebody else I can't think of right now. But those are the type of vibes that I'm always on. Okay. I'm like, but it's like I don't know. That was just funny to me, the way he said it, you know what I'm saying? And then so we see Troy asks, what happened at Rico House. And so they get into the things. So it starts off with Oliver. Oliver begins and says, well, Kendra has to get some off of her chest, you know what I'm saying? And then next we see Willa jumps in and Willa says, yeah, because nobody knew where it was heading at. And then she hands it back to Oliver. And then Oliver says, well, Kendra addressed Dominique, and Nick was cool. And then he gives it back to Willa. And Willa says, yeah, Nick was being cool as a cucumber. And then it turned to a spicy cucumber. And then, Kendra took off, literally. And Troy like, what? Huh? And Siri like, Siri, come on. Siri, come on. And Troy, like, I ain't talking to you, Steve. I ain't talking to you right now, So Troy was like, in his green screen, he's not surprised, and he feels conflicted with, Dominique feeling like he's not like Troy's not his friend, and he really is his friend. And, he just really wants Kendra to get it together too. You know what I'm saying? He just feels conflicted about the whole thing. And so Willa then is asked about, Seven. And she says, she ain't gonna say that Seven, fed her some BS, but she can't tell her the reason why they ain't talked is because she's been booked and busy, and she has been having things going on. And, Willa says that, she's Seven isn't the only one that's busy, you know what I'm saying? And, Troy's here for it, you know what I'm saying? And then Willa speaks on how next we see Willa speaking on how her and Oliver got back cool, which was through a mutual booking. Okay. And so we see mutual booking event. Okay. And so Oliver says he went over and spoke with Willa at the event, and then Willa says that, they talked through their misunderstandings, and then Oliver comes on and he says that, yeah, they both took responsibility, and ultimately that was that. And I can dig that. Let's chop it up. If there's tension in the air and we gotta be in the same quarters, nah, we gonna have to figure a way to coexist. And if we can coexist, right? And B, if we can get to some resolve, let's just get to some resolve. Ain't no need of sitting there with our lip poked out and us not feeling it, and we both literally have to be here for the same event. I can respect the adultness of that, okay? The adultness of the conversation, okay? We need more like it in the world. Shout out to those two. And so next we see Will saying, yeah, because anytime Oliver want me to fix that wig or whatever, he know where to find me, you know what I'm saying? And, she feels like their relationship is going in the right direction. It's going in a good direction, her and Oliver's, okay? And so Oliver tells, Will and Troy about King Kane. And next we see Troy, he informs Oliver that the reason Dominique stopped talking to him is actually because of King Kane. And something that King Kane may have said to Dominique, and Oliver asks, "Well, are you sure?" That was so funny. Are you sure? And so, ultimately they wrap up that scene. And so, I'm glad that, from what we see, that it that kind of was left there, because at the end of the day, I hope that Troy, Dominique, and King Kane can ultimately get on the same accord too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know King Kane, but I'm really, really hoping that they can get on some rapport too, because he seems cool too. I don't know. So then next we see Tonka's house practicing the House of God's Son. Okay. And so she invites Rico, Oliver, and Jay Amore to the ballroom, and they all practice. And Rico ultimately tries, and he said he can't do it. Okay. And then he moves his hips like Sakira. I'm on tonight, my hips don't lie. He said, you see it, my hips don't lie. Oh, he's so funny. And so next we see Drea Moore saying, Drea Moore says Miss Tonka is a legend and is period. Okay. And then Oliver has also been toying with the ballroom scene. Feels that he has an untapped part of himself that really wants to tap into a ballroom. And hey, I say go for it, because the attitude is there. Okay, the look, everything, the aesthetic, everything is there. Okay. And then he said it needs to work like they used to, but he feel like he got it to do. Period. And then Savion Garcon, who is a friend of Miss Tonka, who also starred on Legendary season 2 on HBO Max, comes in, and they have a nice conversation where they're talking, and Tonka asks Savion about what happened to you, like what happened with you in ballroom, why'd you back off, and so Savion is like, life be life, and then with anxiety and things that were going on in the house of Garcon, felt that ultimately ballroom was over, you know what I'm saying? And so Tonka ultimately can relate, given her own personal journey, and says it's a lot being in the scene, in the ballroom scene, and just ready to focus on herself. Okay. And then we see Savion and Tonka, they laugh and smile. They got a nice relationship. I really like the relationship. About good times. And then Tonka says that the conversation with Savion helps, and I really like that. They have a good relationship to where they can talk about anything, and there is one person that can either feel recentered or reset after they leave. You need a person like that in your life. I'm not saying that just for the sake of it, but you really, really do need at least one person in your life that can, help you, you know, through those thoughts, and what you're going through. Okay. And so next we see Rico brings up, they all come back, and they're sitting down, And it's Rico, Jamar, Oliver, Tonka. And Rico brings up the gathering at his house. And, Oliver says, he wants Kendra ultimately to get it together. And, this is when Rico informs that Kendra will not be returning back with them. And so Oliver feels that ultimately it's healthiest for Kendra and wants her to get the help that she needs. And J. Moore seconds it, he understands, and says, the Academy Award goes to Rico about announcing, Kendra's departure from, filming, but understands Kendra taking time to get herself together is best. He did say some true stuff, only you know what you need, okay? And that's true. And so Tonka also understands giving, stepping away, understands Kendra stepping away, and then says, she is team, get your shit together. And that is true. Get your stuff together if you need to get it together. Don't feel any pressure about what you see on social media, what you see around folks, what you see. You need to see the good Lord, your prayers, and focus. Okay? That's what you need. Okay? Tell me what I know, not what I heard. So then Oliver invites the new girls to his event, which who include, Miss Tonka, Miss Tony, J Twan, Berlin. And then Rico asks, well, why we ain't invited? Oliver says, he wants the new girls to come to the event, so that they can get to know each other and, hope that it all goes better than the picnic. And then we see Oliver and Rico ultimately sit down and they have their conversation where Oliver, says he doesn't want any more awkward moments with he and Rico. And Oliver felt the way about Rico's live in the past, given last season. And it was ultimately a live where Rico and Oliver were speaking, and Rico felt that when Oliver said that no one had his back, that was not true because he felt like he was a good friend. He, being Rico, was a good friend to Oliver. Okay. And so, Rico says Oliver felt the need to say no one takes up for him, and Rico felt the need to rebuttal. And so, but now looking at things, now in hindsight during this taping of the show, no, he apologizes, ultimately, and would have done things differently. Um, Oliver was like, no, stand on what you say, because I'm not above approach, you know what I'm saying, or reproach, approach. And so, basically just telling Rico, stand on how you feel because I want to be called out. Call me out if you do feel some type of way, you know what I'm saying? But let's just do it in a more respectable manner, you know what I'm saying? And behind the scenes, not for the world to see, you know what I'm saying? And I can respect it because I don't do a lot of the internet shit either. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? And then Oliver doesn't want Rico to, just to do it on the social media. But then ultimately we see Oliver compliment Rico's new teeth. And then we see everybody trying to find something to eat. And then I really like the end of this scene when we see Miss Tonka putting the fan in Oliver's face and we hear the "Patur." That's so funny to me. That was so cute. But yeah, so that scene wraps. Next, we see the scene with Wayne and Rico. Okay, we see the scene with Wayne and Rico, and so they ultimately meet up to discuss, why Wayne left the party. Okay, and so Rico says he and Wayne, they ain't on that level no more because he got a man. Okay, and so Wayne says they start off talking, and Wayne says that was the worst that he had seen his friend Kendra. And, out of respect, he just wanted to leave, says that he ultimately doesn't find out anything about Kendra unless it's through J Twan or We Were Born. And says that when he reaches out, Kendra don't even respond. And so Rico asks the status of what's really going on with you and Kendra, and Wayne says that Kendra may just need to find her another manager. And, he just wants, because he wants to do his own thing as well. I can respect that. Um, But also too, I feel like if those feelings have been harboring, you should have been said something to your friend Kendra and giving all that she's going through and all that she has gone through. Don't string. I wouldn't want, and I'm not saying this about Wayne the Pain, but I'm just saying I wouldn't want anyone stringing me along and knowing that you have other things that you want to definitely put you first. You know what I'm saying? Help me, when you can. But put you first. I'm that type of friend. Put you first. When you can help me, help me. You know what I'm saying? But if we're doing this together, let's do it cohesively together. You know what I'm saying? Not let me be strung along and then find out about shit, later on, about how you really, really feel. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that this happened, but just saying. So then we see between Wayne the Pain says between his kids and his mom's health, he's just ultimately at a loss for words. And so he also feels that he hasn't been there for his mom or his kids because he's been, chasing someone else's dream. And also feels that he's alone and, says it's a lot that happens behind the scenes. And, he just really hates to see Kendra like this. And you can tell that it was torn on him to see Kendra going through what she's going through and how their relationship is deteriorating. You can visibly see that in this episode. So I definitely want to empathize with Wayne the Pain and definitely continue to pray for him as well. Pray for everybody on this cast, okay? But pray for Wayne the Pain because they're both going through something. The after show live after this episode that we're talking about now, you can just visibly see that he's going through something. He's going through something. So 10 prayers up for him. And so, he says he doesn't even blame Dominique for what happened at Rico's house. He blames Kendra, given, all that Kendra's going on. And then he asks Rico, has Kendra reached out to you and apologized? And Rico's like, she hasn't, but, she's the queen, you know what I'm saying? And that's Kendra, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, but we got to hold Kendra accountable, you know what I'm saying? And also, too, yeah. So then, he says, Kendra need to focus. Rico also comes in his green screen and says Kendra need to focus on herself and Wayne needs to focus on himself. Wayne tells Rico, next thing we know, after that stated, we see Wayne tell Rico, I was gonna push up on you, but your boo was there. And then Rico says, hey, I'm in an open relationship. Okay, my boo know what it is. Okay. And so Rico then so then Wayne says, "Oh, we should go to dinner." He like, "Hold on, hold on, hold on. You and Nick gotta resolve y'all issues first." And so Wayne like, "I don't know, cause Dominique's so shady. Dominique's so shady." And so Rico's like, "No, no, no. Let's sit down." He offers a sit down between Wayne and Dominique, and it's like Wayne is pretty much unsure about that. And Rico explained, "Well, Rico and Dominique had got off on the wrong footing, but look at them now." And that's all that Rico was trying to explain to Wayne. And, Wayne's like, I don't know, whatever. But Wayne wants things to be better with him and Dominique. So, hey, we're going to see later on what really happens. Okay. So next we see the We Were Born scene. Okay. We see the We Were Born scene. We have Miss Tonka, we have Miss Tony, and we have Miss Seven. And We Were Born, J1 says that, they invited everyone, but only, Miss Tonka, Miss Tony, and, Seven only showed up, which support is support, okay? Maybe the other people had things to do. I don't know. I wasn't there, but support is support. I'm gonna take the support. I don't care if only one person watched my video. I'm glad because, baby, you know what? There's one more person that was not watching me and one more person that is going to support me, okay? I am going to stay optimistic through it all. I'm taking all the support that I can get. Okay. So that being said, you all continue to be optimistic through any support that you have. Don't worry about who's showing up. Worry about who's there supporting you. Okay. In those moments. Okay. Very vital. So then We Were Born has a studio session, and ultimately Berlin is in the studio singing their new song, Hardhead. And it's a really nice song. I really like the song. And so Jason says that, We Were Born is versatile. And that's when again he says that, they extended the invite and only those three showed up, those three ladies showed up. And so gives appreciation to the girls coming out. And then we see Seven asks, well, what makes this track different? And so Berlin says, I'm rapping on this track. And so, hey, I'm all about it. It sounds good to me. You need to go, y'all need to go listen. So then we see Miss Tonka says we were born as a mixture of Diddy Dirty Money and Danny Kaye. That's so funny to me, Jesus. Oh, Miss Tonka so funny, Jesus. And said, left on a work lunch break to support. So let's see what it gives. So then Dre Tone asked Seven if he can call her Drew or Seven. And so Seven says you can call me Drew and Drag, but Seven is me pretty much all the time. I'm Seven overall, period. That's who I am. And so Tony speaks. So then we see Seven saying, enough about me. So then she passes it over to Miss Tony. And so Miss Tony speaks on, being on P Valley and P Valley being amazing, which if you have not watched P Valley, down in a valley where the girls get naked, where uniquely Destiny is from, Mississippi. Okay. Yes, okay. They do be getting naked, okay. Yes, okay. But if you have not watched that series, you need to go watch it, okay? And I do believe season 3 is coming out soon. I hope so next year. I don't know. Maybe Miss Tonka would speak. I mean, maybe Miss Tony would speak soon about that too. And then so we also see, Miss Tony saying that, she's in a new movie with Quavo, I do believe she said, in the movie Takeover. So you all, if you have not seen it, hopefully I believe it's out now or it will be out. If you have not seen it, go watch Takeover, go watch P Valley, and also she's shooting for The Shy. I have not watched The Shy, but I hear The Shy is good. And if you all think I should review The Shy, let me know in my comments for real. Those of you who are not shy, okay? So please go watch and please support Miss Tony, okay? Yes, Miss Tony, yes. And honey, when I say that face be snatched, baby, that face be snatched, okay? If there is a virtual class, sign me up with Miss Tony because I want to be there when the makeup class begins, okay? I want to get snatched like that too, okay? Period, period, okay? So next we see Berlin, Berlin loves Tony and being in the ballroom. And, she also brings up that she was also in the Kiki ballroom as well, which I found very interesting because I can see that, what I'm saying, Berlin. And so the next we see Miss Tony passes it over to Miss Tonka. Excuse me, you guys. And so we see Miss Tonka says that, she's a caseworker by day and the icon, period, by night and every day, period, okay? And is. Legendary for runway and drag. And then her pronouns are she, her, and Miss Tony. Miss Tony came in and she was like, she makes me upset because she don't make people stand by her pronouns. Baby, make people stand by your pronouns. If you go by she, her, you she, her. That's it. Period, blank. Okay. Yes. Okay. And then we see out of nowhere, well, after the tap that J Twan gave Berlin, Berlin gets up and says that she has to go to the bathroom. And then Seven, all of a sudden, we see what the cameras don't see, what the cameras don't show y'all is that she didn't go to the bathroom. She went to get her phone. Seven so funny. Seven some hoes like to produce their own storyline. Lord. And Miss Tunk is just all about Miss Tunk is confusion. Okay, Miss Tunk is confusion. She like, what's going on? Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. She come back in and talk about sugar daddy. Sugar daddy. Now that is gonna go down in the chasing reality books. Okay. Miss Tunk is saying that. Sugar daddy. Sugar daddy. Yes. So then Berlin comes in on the phone and she's talking to her sugar daddy and asks why they ain't talk to her. They acting funny. And then she ends up telling the girls after she got on the phone that she got a sugar daddy and, his stuff not working. Yep, stuff not working. And maybe trying to cut her off. And so Seven laughs and is like, Seven, like, I don't believe it. Okay. And so then Berlin says that she's been a sugar baby for about 10 years. sugar baby, her sugar daddy has, been having erectile dysfunctions, and she's grown, and she's upset that he's acting like that. So okay. Next, we have the girls hearing "We Were Born" new music, where Tonka says, call what Tonka says, call her for the music video, after when they shoot the video or whatever, because the music was really good. Like, if you all have not watched this episode, go watch it, hear the music, and then also go back and listen to "We Were Born's" music in general. They're really a bop, and they're eclectically dope. Okay, period. Seven gives credit and says put her on the track, and then Seven says Berlin was soft and cunt. And to which Jay Twan comes on his green screen and says that he ain't seen Seven perform, and so he wouldn't take advice from anyone other than a professional. Ultimately, because he got critiques, and so that was that scene. So really, really nice scene. So next we see Rico in a scene with Dominique, and Rico is working with Wesley Henderson from APEC TV. And Rico is talking about his new show, The Deception, and how he came up with the name of The Deception, characters, the concept, casted the whole cast. And then we also see a cameo from Miguel Jontel. I hope I'm saying Miguel's name. Hi, Miguel. He's the co-creator of The Deception as well. And so we see Mikhail and Neek shoot their scene. And then Neek is excited about the opportunity that Rico has presented him, and also, um, shooting in the movie, or shooting in The Deception. And so Rico and Dominique end up talking, and they talk about Wayne. And so Rico says Wayne wants to talk without conflict. And Dominique is like, I don't know. But he opened to hear what Wayne has to say. And then ultimately, Dominique says he's done that before with Wayne, but it always goes backwards, not forward. And so Dominique and Rico ultimately wrap up that scene. Next, we have the ultimate and final scene with Dominique and Wayne the Pain meeting up. And before I get into this scene, I just want to say that if you cannot keep your hands to yourself, and you know that you're going into what could possibly be a heated conversation or argument, you need to just stay away until you can calm down and control your emotions. Yes, you do. You should. Okay. So in this scene, we see Dominique. He arrives. He's already feeling unsure about the meetup. You know what I'm saying? Says Wayne better come correct because he has the receipts. Okay. And then Wayne is already late, y'all. Wayne show up late to the meetup. And then when he do, he speaks to Dominique. Can I have a hug? Dominique like, no, fist bump. Period. Because COVID is real. Wayne brings a composition book and says, this is for your negative thoughts about me. Next, he pulls out a patrol car and he says, next time, you say something wrong, it will be a patrol car pulling up. And then last, he brings try some Summer's Eve. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that commercial? Try some Summer's Eve. Woo, that was a key. But I'm just like, Wayne, why are you bringing these things? Why are you being petty? Dominique is really coming to get some understanding, but he do got receipts. And why y'all just can't never have no conversation without it being physical, or you wanting to put hands? Why? Why? But anyway. So next we see Dominique saying, what you want, and don't be wasting my time. Because period, don't be wasting my time with all this fugazi. This is foolery. This is the foolery, okay? If I wanted to play with something, I would go play with my dog. Or, if you have a cat, go play with your cat. You know what I'm saying? But I don't got time to be playing with you, and I'm meeting you and you're late, okay? No. So then we see Wayne says that, Dominique was fake last year, and then Nick pulls out the text thread. This is the text thread that we spoke about earlier, where Anthony was like, which is Dominique's ex, was like, oh, this is Wayne, where Wayne messaged me. This is the text thread, that this is the receipt, y'all. Okay. So then Wayne says that, he did hit up Dominique's ex, and it's because, Wayne was cool with Anthony's friend, which was Wayne's ex. So Wayne dated a Wayne, which was cool with Anthony's Dominique's ex. Okay. Yeah. Hope you following. Okay. And then ultimately Dominique is just upset. Okay. And so Wayne says that Nick better back up. I always see him saying, you better back the F up. You better back the F up. Dominique, you better back up. But don't play with Dominique. Dominique is a dynamite, okay? This what y'all didn't know. This what Wayne didn't know, okay? The D stands for dynamite, okay? Yes, yes. So then we see Dominique says, he just gonna leave. After Wayne went to doing all of that, he like, I'm just gonna leave. So then in the green screen, Dominique like, well, why you checking for my butthole if you come in here, we trying to get some understanding, why you doing all that? And but if you want to get active, we can get active, okay? And Wayne gets in Nick's face, he doing all these, because ultimately at this it only took one of these for me to go boo. It didn't it But I understand we're adulting now. So, it's just like, let me leave. I'm going to remove myself. I understand, Dominique. I understand when you are unlocking your better self, you move a different way. And that's on some real shit. You ain't just saying it. You know what I'm saying? You remove your shit. You remove your shit from negative energy. You just, no, you don't want to do that. Okay. But then ultimately we see, him, Wayne getting in his face, and he's threatening to beat Dominique tail for Kendra, you know what I'm saying? And so then we see Wayne green screen, and he feels Kendra's presence and says, it's over for Dominique. Next thing we know, we see Wayne hit Dominique, and then Dominique just end up domineering that face. Woo, that's so funny to me. So then after the fight was done, then we see Wayne run to the car. He like, I got something for you. I got stuff for you. And I'm like, what you got for him? Because you can't be doing it. You can't be doing it and saying it on camera, because we think we know what that means. And also, too, you just shouldn't be doing it if you can't win fairly. I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Okay? But I love them all. Love you too, Wayne LeBay. Just saying. So then we see Dominique. Y'all hear my dog in the background. He sleep. But just bear with me. I'm almost done. So then we see Wayne run to the car, and we see Poor and Dario and whomever is holding the camera fight for their life, trying to stop this fight. Shout out to them, y'all. Shout out to them. Like, I really love the Chasing Reality brand. It's the truth. Okay. I've been watching for a long time. Okay. Yes. So then we see Dominique come in his green screen and ultimately says that, Wayne just pulled his hair, and he ain't like that. Out of everything else, he didn't like that. And so Dominique calls Seven and, fills Seven in, and, just says, he ain't got time for it. Ultimately, he just don't got time for it, and he gonna leave and he gonna go home. And ultimately, that's the end of the episode. But before it was the end, we did see Dominique kick that bag. He be like, sorry if there's somebody phone. Dominique was pissed. I would have been pissed too, because how you gonna show up late and then gonna pop me? What? And then I had to beat your ass. What? That don't make me feel good that I gotta beat your tail. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. But because you have to take that out of me, you know what I'm saying? I gotta do what I gotta do. But I felt Dominique, and I feel that ultimately he did the right thing by removing himself, going home, and I'm ready to see what's gonna happen next week. So, in that case, I hope that you all have been really intrigued and really in tune with this review. If you have any comments, if you have any feedback, please feel free to leave any comments below. I will be reviewing next week's episode next week as well. I'm probably going to do it a little bit um, sooner than Sunday. So maybe right after the video drops, or maybe the day after. Also in the future, I just want to let you all know that I will be dropping more content. I will be reviewing other shows as well. And if you are not following my page, go ahead and follow my page, like my lives and like my shorts. I do nails. So also I'm always dropping content in my short reels. So go ahead and find yourself um waddling over to that page, and liking those posts. So again, I enjoyed this video, and I love all of you out there. I hope you all say your prayers before you go to bed. As always, have God in your heart first, love in your heart second, and peace of mind third. Hope you all have a beautiful, blessed night. Talk to you guys later. Bye.